Gotta give him that light skin look.
Oh man, not the light skin look. Hey Mac, we live, man. Hey, go ahead, cue that theme music, man.
Hit that thing, Mersey. I know what time it is. Yes, sir. Is you ready? It's that time, baby.
Hey, we back on the 1MC. We just did an emergency breakaway. Anybody that actually been to a ship know what time it is when they let the wrong person get on for emergency breakaway? They all let BMSC and McCauley get on the mic for emergency breakaway music. The CO didn't know what song that was. Half the P-Way stopped and like, who music is that? Hey, welcome back to all the shipmates. Even if you ain't never been on no ship, we back on the 1MC. We don't dedicate Mondays for Mac. He got so much to talk about. We just gonna give him his own day. He just gonna go off, man. So welcome to the first edition of Mac Mondays, man. He gonna talk to him exactly how he feel. And we're gonna hit on a couple of different things, right? Navy wide. Some things maybe not so much Navy, but still some hot topics that Mac want to talk on. So how you been, Mac? I know you're getting settled in out there in VA, worst state in the United States, but I know you're out there doing your thing. How it is to be back in the States, man?
Hey, man, it feels good to be back. No lie. Like, bro, I get regular food now. Like, dog, I get grits with butter and cheese, bro. Grits with butter and cheese. I get bacon. I get eggs. You know what I'm saying? I get regular food, man. But even more so, let me tell you what more so crazy though. What I'm not used to, and I know some of y'all about to laugh when I say this. What I ain't used to is these sailors in these type 3s walking around Walmart and the mall shopping in their type 3. I ain't used to that, man. I ain't used to that.
Well, the thing is, you gonna have to get used to that.
Oh yeah, I ain't got no choice, bro. It is what it is.
That's what they do now, man. And that's legit. They can do that, because Navy made it to where the standard is so low now. Yeah, yep. You remember how the evolution of the cell phone went, right? You used to walk, you couldn't have it, and then it was duty purpose only on the back clip. You know what I'm saying? You had that all the way around the back with the clip, the little 360 clip, and then you can walk, but you gotta. And now it's just crazy, right? Now people do walk around with the ear pods. Oh my god, I almost lost my mind. But I was on that ship. And these cats is walking around, engineers, dog. I'm talking about engineers. They ain't got the joints in for the ear protection. They got the white joints in with the Bluetooth on, right? Walking around the ship. I was like, bro, who is not checking these cats? So I can't check goddamn 3,000 motherfuckers, right? So I was just like, bro, this shit is crazy, man. Like ear pods, bro. That's wild, man. And I'm talking about cats in 100-degree space walk around ear pods. Like that thing get burned, stuck to their ear, then they're gonna blame the Navy for toxic leadership. You know how that goes.
Yeah, man. It's a trip, man. I mean, the ones I saw were all AOs. I saw a bunch of AOs, man. AO3s, AO. Damn. It was all IOUs, man. I don't know what them big nines out there doing, but
oh damn.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Rod. He hitting on your folks, man. You gonna have to come talk to him, man.
Oh, Rod out there. I didn't even know Rod was out there, man.
Right, yeah, Rod, he gonna correct them, but damn, you threw the boys under the bus. The IOs out there around with red and black.
He said, hey,
"Oh, there you go." He
said, watch out.
Yeah, watch out now. Hey, you know how y'all GA boys get down. You watch out now, goddamn.
Hey, real talk, big up, man. Hey, happy belated birthday to the boy Rod, man. That boy just celebrated 60 years, man. So happy birthday, big dog.
60 years. They say he was out there celebrating like Big Meech. You know what I'm saying? At the compound back in ATL.
Not the compound.
Well, I was just reading the Jeezy book I got. Jeezy book. I was just reading his book. And he was talking about how he used to hang out with Big Meech and them boys out there in Atlanta. Yep. I was like, God damn, them gold bottles on gold bottles. So they used to be blowing 100, 150K. I'm like, man, I wish I could get all that and just throw it on Apple right now. You feel me? But it is what it is.
Bro, we used to be at the compound and we used to be at Central Station.
Yeah. Meech and them boys. Jeezy was talking about all them little spots. I was like, man, I heard of some of these spots back in the day, early 2000s or whatnot. So it's all good. My boy Ross say Big 9 Wednesdays coming soon. You feel me?
Hey, set it up. Set it up. I'm logging in. Hey,
man, Oh,
Let
we
me get
talked
one.
to a nine. Yeah.
Let me get one for Big Nine.
Dude.
All right.
Hey, we gonna have to clap it up like Noah and them boys on Drink Champs. Clap it up a little bit. Say, hey, give a round of applause for them nines, man. Give a round.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, did you watch that game, boy? The Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark game, man. Did you watch that shit?
Dog, let me tell you. So let me go and say, dog, I'll be the first one to admit. I'm gonna admit, I did not watch the WNBA prior to this year. I didn't even watch women's college basketball. So I'll admit that. I'm not out here, being fugazi and acting like, oh, I know the history of WNBA and all that. No. But ever since Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark had that little skerfuffle in college, uh, bruh, it's just been lit ever since. And yesterday, bruh, both them girls showed out. Both of them. Angel Reese balled her ass off.
Hey,
I
man,
mean, the
look.
girl was getting rebounds and she couldn't be stopped.
Nah, man, she was a monster, man. She was on that glass, but you
Yeah.
ain't gotta apologize to nobody. Wasn't nobody watching WNBA. I mean,
Man,
come on now. Wasn't nobody watching that.
you got some people out here telling themselves, oh, y'all that wasn't on the wasn't on WNBA. I'm like, man, come on, man. How many of y'all was walking around with a WNBA jersey on, 5 years ago? Come on, man.
Ain't nobody walking around with them now. It's
Well,
people in Indiana with Caitlin.
I just got one though. I just got an ATL jersey because I support it.
Well, the ATL jersey's always been fire, men and women. But yeah, ain't nobody watching that, man. But people watching it now. And they only watching for one or two folks. So it is what it is. I mean, I hope they keep the trend going. But nobody watching, you ain't gotta apologize. But the thing was, when somebody started beefing, everybody want to watch. You know what I'm saying? They the new age Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Not by skill, but by actual comparison with the race stuff and all that good stuff. Because half the country on one side, half the country on the other side.
So let me ask you this then. What's your thoughts on the fact that they left Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese off the Team USA?
Oh man, neither one of them deserve that. Neither one of them, because when you think of it like military promotions, right? Because I like to compare a lot of stuff to military promotions. If a motherfucker just check into the command and get the EP, and other motherfuckers been there grinding the whole time, and they jump those guys on their first look, how's that gonna look, right? If they get promoted based off of perception and popularity instead of actual merit and work they put in, right? You might be that up and coming EP, but at the same time, other people already been there putting in the work, even though you were up and comer. So you gotta wait your turn, man. Hold off. So every 4 years Olympics come around. So if they put in the work, they'll be in that spot next year. You feel me? So it'll be all right.
Okay, that's a dope way to look at it. I ain't got no debate on that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I can say I do understand some other people's angles about what they could have done, for the organization, for the league. But no, I'm cool. I'm cool with it, and I think I'm even more cool with it because them girls ain't even complaining, bro. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark ain't complaining. It's everybody else making a big deal out of shit. Them two not doing it.
Nah, man. And then you got old girl from Dallas, like my boy Chuck just said in the chat. You got Enrique Angulaway. I can't pronounce the last name. Don't hurt me on that. But her first name Enrique. She been my favorite player. Like I have not watched like a full game, but I know who she is for the last 2 or 3 years because she is fire. I'm on her Instagram. I be checking out her highlights. I know her game, right? And truth be told, she been better than Caitlin for the last 2 or 3 years doing the same shit, shooting deep threes. Her handle's way better. She much more fluid, but she ain't getting the same type of height. And you know how that go, man. So it's all good.
But we in there now. I'm locked in. They come
Yeah.
on a Saturday or Sunday, and especially if Reese and Clark playing, I'm locked in, bro.
No, I ain't watching that shit. I can't support it, but I will watch the highlights and look at the scores because it is what it is. But
He said,
nah, man. No, I ain't watching that shit. But what it is, I don't like. I seen somebody compare. Somebody was saying that the shit is so bad, right? You got the stars, right? It is what it is. You got 4 or 5 people who are legit superstars, Asia folks like that, right? But after that, at least in the NBA, role players can go out there and do a 360 and bam on somebody's head, or goes, hit 9 threes. In the WNBA, after you get past the stars, like everybody else is kind of low key mid.
No, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna. I can't look. I don't watch NBA games, So I'm definitely not finna sit around and watch WNBA games with less athleticism,
That's fair.
missing a whole bunch of shots and lay. Nah, I'm not finna sit and watch that. But
That's
like
fair.
I said, I will look at the stats. I'll keep up with the drama shit. I'm just being honest, right? And that's what most of the casual folks like me are doing, right? So it is what it is.
Well, big up to Caitlin Clark and Reese out there stunting on the girls, man. Keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah, man, they doing their thing, man. You know who else doing their thing? Your boy, goddamn Kendrick, out there stunting on. You know, he threw a whole Juneteenth concert out there, low key.
People.
Hey, y'all light skinned folks taking L's out here, man.
Hey man, hold up, bro. Chill.
Team light skin ain't doing too hot, bro. Team light skin ain't doing too hot, bro.
Hey man, hey, are you my friend? Are we locked in?
Hey, let me tell you this, man. If you go back on my Facebook page, man, I made a post probably like 10 years ago, bro. I ain't no Kendrick fan. I couldn't tell you his top 10s. I have no clue, right? I don't listen to his shit at all, not even close. But I made a post like 10 years ago, and I was like, I can't remember the exact verbiage, but I was like, hey, I'm gonna cut this Kendrick off and turn on his plies, because I can relate a lot more to this shit than I can this Kendrick shit. And that fact still hold true, man. Now, Kendrick, don't get me wrong. The lyricist shit, that ain't my speed, man. I ain't into all the, politically deep, thinking. I listen to it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go turn on I'm gonna bang the plies before I bang the Kendrick in the car, or it's a banger in the club. Hey, man, I'm just being me, man. Like, I can't, I'm from Florida, man. So I ain't never been the biggest Kendrick fan or whatnot.
Well, I'll say this, because I gotta give Kendrick his flowers, man. I think what was so dope about that concert was, and I'm sure you can relate, is the fact that this boy really brought the West out. Like, this dude
city out. Oh yeah, I can definitely pick up that.
He had blue and red. I mean, on some real tight, like Nipsey Hussle type. He wanted to bring everybody together. It's like everybody rallied around him, and over one song. You know what I'm saying? Because when that song came on, that was the one that just got everybody out the seats, and they just rallied around this dude, man. And for me, this is why unfortunately Drake can't win the battle, because Drake don't belong to nobody. He has no coast, he has no city, he has no background besides Canada. And who is Canada? No disrespect now, anybody from Canada, but if you ain't rocking the East, the South, or the West, it's like who do you have on your team?
Listen, man, Drake global, like. Yeah. Drake is global. Don't get me wrong, Kendrick global too, but Drake is pop global.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's global in a pop way though.
Yeah. I mean, he rap, but he pop global. Like, that's comparing, like, I mean, I can't even think of no artist right now, but I could just use these two, right? 50 Cent, and like back in the day, you can say, who else was 50 Cent contemporary back in the day? Somebody who was more lyrical. I can't even think of nobody right now off the top of my head, but there's a difference, right? When you go overseas and those fans see you and they know exactly who you are. Here's a good example. I went to a concert one time overseas, and I think Quavo was there, right? Everybody there knew who he was, right? Everybody there knew who he was. He also had a special guest. Guess who the special guest was? Somebody real lyrical who also dissed Drake. Pusha T, right? Pusha T came out as one of his special guests. Mm-hmm. Nobody had no fucking idea who he was. Not a clue. Mm-hmm. They was like, who is this? The crowd was dead silent. He was singing some, hits, like things you consider hits. They had no idea who this motherfucker was. But when Quavo came out that bit, they went crazy. But you ask who the better rapper, quote unquote rapper is, who you gonna think? It's gonna be Pusha T, right? Mm-hmm. So in that same breath, them cats, they don't give a shit about them lyrics, them bars and shit. They want to be in the club singing alone and goddamn dropping it like it's hot. They don't give a damn about that. So he might win the street credibility war, but at the end of the day, Drake winning he winning the competition, so to speak.
Well, but here's the thing though. I agree with you on that on the lyrical standpoint, but I think that's why Kendrick has excelled so far with this one song that They Not Like Us, because he took his lyricism and added it to that type of genre that you're talking about. Because not everybody loves They Not Like Us. White folk, black folk, yellow folk, brown folk, red folk, pink folk. Everybody love that song, man. That song is the number one song probably in the world right now.
Man, I've never heard that song. I have not listened to that song.
They Not Like Us? If you ain't heard it, you've been on the rock.
I heard the beat and I heard a couple words to it, but I've never sat down and like listened to it from beginning
No,
to end.
ain't
I've
no.
not. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you a bar on that song. I swear to you.
This coming from a light skinned cat. Ain't no fucking way.
Hey, I'm just being honest. Though. I've never sat down and say I'm about to put this Kendrick on. Not ever, never in my life has that ever
I
happened.
agree.
Never
I ain't
will.
never said that either. But this
Not
one
never.
song, that one song.
Oh no, dog! Not even at the height of this beef, I have not been like, man, I gotta go check this Kendrick out. No, dog. I would, and it's real hypocritical because on Juneteenth, he brought all these people together, right? But at the same time, he bashing another brother. So what you doing? Like we supposed to be kumbaya on June on the 19th and shit, and you out here bashing another brother, light skin, albeit, but
I
come on,
mean,
man, that's real hypocritical. That's
in
real
Kendrick's
hypocritical, my
eyes,
boy.
look, in Kendrick's eyes, is he another brother? Because he already told you, don't say nigga.
Oh my god, it
I'm
is
just
what it
saying.
is, man.
I'm just
Hey.
saying. Don't say
Listen,
ninja.
hey, he can tell him he can give all the light skin rules as he want. We all know that the one drop rule was in effect back in the day. One drop, that's all it took. It could be a blood transfusion. It could be somebody bled by accident. You get one drop in your system, you was considered colored, and that was it, right?
Chuck said Family Matters was better. I think lyrically, Family Matters was definitely one of the best, if not the best songs in the whole little disc. But yeah, none of those songs touch they not like us, man. None of them.
Man, I ain't gonna. You know what? I'm gonna tell you straight up. I ain't gonna never listen to that song. It's gonna have to come on when I'm sitting in somebody's car, and they gonna have to be like, "Hey, dog, this is my car. Don't
Hey,
touch the radio," type shit. I
you
ain't gonna
gonna
do
hear
that.
it. You gonna hear it. I'm sure
I'm
they.
gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna assume I'm gonna hear it eventually, but it ain't gonna be because of my doing. Nah, it's just like,
That song crazy, bro. That song
nah.
crazy. But yeah, no, overall though, yeah, I think it was a good concert, man. I think he did a good job bringing the city out and bringing and uniting folks and bringing them together. But you mentioned something very very key earlier. You said something about there was a West Coast rapper that wasn't there.
Oh, your boy, the game. What happened to him? I thought he was West Coast, ride or die. I don't remember what affiliation he with. I heard he switched sides.
Blood, he blood.
Is he? I don't know. Whatever, man. I don't care. But at the same time, I saw his little video. They say he made like a 15, 17, 18-minute video of him crying about not being there and why he didn't get invited. And he didn't get the invite. Right?
I didn't see that video. I did see a video that he did. I did see a video where he said it wasn't like that. Like basically he support Kendrick and what he was doing, but he doing his thing. Kendrick was doing his thing. I did see that. But no, but guess what else though? Guess who else wasn't there?
Who?
Snoop.
Oh, Snoop, man, Snoop busy, man. I
Guess
mean, try to get
what?
Snoop last minute.
Guess what Snoop was at?
He was with Drake.
Bruh, the boy was in Canada, bruh. The boy was in Canada.
He was with Drake. Hey, they was in there like, look at this shit, cuz. Look at it. Look at this shit, cuz. Can't believe these motherfuckers. Like, hey, for real, man. But that's crazy, man. I can't support no rappers out here beefing and shit, man. But
So I got one last question for you in regards to that, and it's really for anybody watching too. What do y'all think, or do you think, since you're on the line, right? Do you think Drake will be able to not necessarily bounce back because it's Drake, but do you think Drake will still have the same level of clout that he had before this?
yeah, absolutely. Honestly, man, I tell you what, I was listening to somebody else's podcast, and he was like, these are the two cores for Drake, man. He can either come back out because he got a concert coming up. He can come back out and address this shit, or he can just flood the population with his greatest hits and come out with a couple more bangers. And guess what? Nobody gonna talk shit about it because they're gonna be listening to the new shit. And nobody give a shit about this beef. I know if I was him, I would just be like, you know what, man, I'm rich as fuck. I don't care about none of that. I'm about to put out these bangers. I'm about to have all the ladies singing my hooks. I'm about to make a couple of more cameos on some more hits, and I'm about to keep it pushing. I don't even need to, because at this point, what's the purpose? Like, ain't even no purpose of doing that no more, man. Like, it don't matter. Like, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much for them to lose in the event somebody take this shit too serious. You feel me? So I don't understand. I heard somebody already got shot from my understanding. So I don't. I would just leave it. I would leave it alone at this point and keep it pushing.
Yeah, I just feel like with what happened with Pusha T and what happened with Kendrick, I feel like now it's gonna be people that are not on Pusha T and Kendrick's level lyrically, I feel like now they can challenge the throne. I feel like once you allow people to challenge the throne, and you don't do a good job of owning your shit like he did with Meek Mill, who's to say the next cat won't be like, I'm about to take a shot at Drake? And guess what? Even if they don't win, at least their name got big because Kendrick definitely done blew up bigger now because he challenged Drake.
Yeah, you see how that worked though. Kendrick, when he was a lab, right? You know what lab is. You watch Kevin Hart specials, right? Local, right? He was a local dude, and all of a sudden, he getting a lot of publicity because he taking shots at at your boy Aubrey at the light skin team. So go figure how that go, right? So
typically dark skin need us light skins to get big. But anyway, all right, what's next, cuz?
Hey, that's crazy, man. Hey, man, let's get into the Navy stuff, man. So I know a lot of folks been talking about this lately, man.
What's that?
Hey,
what up, Dang?
Something to do with that shirt you got on, man. PRT, man.
Shit. Here we go.
Yeah, talk to him about this new PRT, man. Talk to us about that.
All right, man. I'm gonna say it like this, right? And so I agree with my boy said, and I think I seen a couple other people on this type of tip, right? Everybody all up in arms about the PRT and the standards and all this and that. But here's the thing: if you read the NAV admin carefully, it more so talked about the administrative piece of the PRT, such as it used to be if you had 2 PRT failures, you had to do an adverse fit rep and or eval, right? And you had to document that. Now you didn't have to put them out the Navy, right? Because it used to be they got out, then they took that away, right? But now it's instead of mandating the admin piece of adverse fit rep or eval, now they're leaving it up to the reporting senior. And the way I view that is, and I think most senior people anyway are viewing it that way, is man, we know what's going on. The Navy got a big recruiting and retention problem, and the Navy and the Department of Defense is on the verge of possibly something big going on in the Western Pacific. We don't have time to lose any more people because we ain't gaining more people. On the same tip though, we're not gonna just put people out and we're not gonna allow them to just do nothing. You still got to do the PRT. You still got to do all that type of stuff. It's just if you don't pass, then you just don't get promoted. You still got all the things you need to do to promote or get a special program or any kind of accolades. You still got to perform. That's the only I don't know why people think because now it doesn't have to be documented. One, that it's not going to be documented because reporting seniors can still do it. But two, somebody's going to review a package. And if you're in your package, right, let's say an officer package, right? I'm putting in for LDO or CWO or MECEP or MACIPP. And in my package, there's that PRT section and it shows fail or it shows satisfactory. You ain't going to get selected over those that got good, excellent, and outstanding. Let's just call a spade a spade. So the standards are still somewhat there. It's just now the COs have more leeway because, like I said, to be honest, bro, we not keeping people in. People are leaving.
Yeah,
people leaders are leaving.
Yeah, people not leaving because of the PRT. I mean, let's be real. That's 0.0000001% of the folks that's getting put out, right? A lot of people getting put out because they doing dumb shit. But let's keep it a buck. The PRT is not the reason. But what I will say is, or let me rephrase this into a question. What do you think the subjectivity of the CO bearing the weight of having to say yay or nay to giving somebody an adverse fit rep because of their PRT, and how would that affect sailors' thoughts when it comes to I got this eval, I failed 2 PRTs or I failed 1 PRT, but I still get an EP because of the new nav admin versus the cat who is not as reputable as Sailor A. Sailor B gets the adverse eval, even though they both failed the same amount of PRTs in the same amount of time. Like, how's that gonna look?
So that's a loaded question, but I'll answer it kind of 2 ways, right? So
it ain't loaded, it's straight up. Like, how do you think sailors are gonna feel if they don't on the short end of that stick? Like,
okay, well, I was about to say I've had a opportunity to be on both sides, right? So being the chief and sitting in those boards with sailors that have failed, and then now being on the officer side, sitting on those boards. I can tell you that I've been around COs, like my last CO, where if you fail a PRT, and especially this new NAV admin says that you can still give them an adverse, he will give you an adverse. So again, it's up to the CO. It really depends on that CO. My last CO, and I was at a Marine Operational Command, right? That dude didn't play, man. In his philosophy, one of his top 3 things was physical fitness. So if you have a CO right, that's driven by physical fitness, he or she ain't gonna play that. Now, if you have a CO that is not driven by that, then they might be a little bit more lenient on giving, not a adverse eval of fit rep. But now to your question, right? If you got a sailor that failed it, and then you got a sailor that didn't fail it, and you're talking about who's going to get the EP, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I would like to believe that there ain't no command master chief in the world that is going to allow a sailor that failed back-to-back PRTs to get an EP over a sailor that didn't fail the PRT. I would hope that there's not a CMC or mess or war room that will allow that.
That's not what I asked you, though, Doc. What I asked you was both sailors have failed the PRT.
Yeah.
They fight. Let's say they fighting for the last MP, right?
Yeah.
Fight for the last MP on the board, and you in the ranking board as the departmental LCPO or the department head, whatever the case is. Yeah. You got two sailors who both failed the PRT. How are you going to determine
one PRT or two?
It don't matter. They both failed the same amount of PRTs in the same amount of time.
What you doing with balloons in your background, man?
That's wild. That's you, my boy. That ain't me. That's you. But let's stay on track. I'm trying to keep focused with the balloons coming. Happy birthday, motherfucker. But you in that room, right? And let's be clear. The chiefs, even the command master chief, is making a recommendation to the CO. The CO is going to be the final decision maker when it comes to signing those fit reps, right? So at the end of the day, if the CO gives somebody who failed the PRT a better eval versus the same person who failed the same amount of PRTs in the same amount of time, just because they have the subjectivity to do so, how is that sailor going to take that? That's what my question is to you. Both sailors have failed the PRT. Both sailors have done the same amount of work.
Who says that they have to get an MP?
So let's take the MP out of it, right? Okay. Let's just say adverse eval. That's the key phrase here, adverse eval. Okay. CO has the ability to give the adverse eval or not give it.
Correct.
So let's say you got two sailors who both failed the PRT. Mm-hmm. One of them gets the adverse eval. One of them doesn't. How do you explain? How do you explain that?
Well, first off, as a reporting senior, you set yourself up for failure by doing that because you're not being fair and firm across the board.
But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen when you leave it in the hands of humans to make decisions based off of what they think and feel and what they've seen. It's gonna happen, bro. It's only a matter of time. It might not happen.
I can't say it won't happen, but I would like to believe, and in the rooms I've been in, right, I would like to believe that one, you're not making decisions in a vacuum. There's a reason why you have people sitting at the table to help you make informed decisions. So if both sailors fail the PRT and one is getting an adverse and one isn't, then there's got to be something else going on with that one sailor that's getting an adverse eval versus that other one. If it's only that they both fail the PRT and one is getting adverse and one isn't, yeah, you set yourself up for an IG complaint.
Yeah, I'm briefing you. No. Listen, this is the scenario. I'm briefing you, right? I'm the CMC, you the CO. Okay. Both sailors have failed the most current PRT.
Okay.
No other adverse information has directed us to make these sailors not recommended for promotion or be given an adverse eval, with the exception of us having the ability, you as the commanding officer, to get them an adverse eval.
Okay.
At that point, the CO, right? Hopefully the very, very, very low percentage say, well, I want to give this person the adverse and I want to give this person, right, recommendation for retention, whatever the case may be, a non-adverse eval. How do you, as the leader, department LCPO, department head, whatever your title is, as the leader of that sailor who is going to receive that, how do you explain that to them? How does that instruction change from having to mandate the adverse eval, from the CO being given the authority to give it or not give it, change the dynamic for sailors who do get that adverse eval now?
Okay. I think I understand your question now. So you're saying that the CO is in agreement with doing one and not doing the other.
Right.
And now I'm department head, and I got to explain to the sailor.
You got to explain this.
Why she got the adverse eval. So me, because you're asking me, first and foremost, I'm gonna have a conversation with the skipper to be like, hey, sir, ma'am, I need to understand in your train of thought, why did my sailor get an adverse eval and this sailor didn't? So I can know how I'm going to have this conversation with my sailor, because I'm not about to go into that room with that sailor bullshitting. That's not what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna talk to skipper first and be like, hey, what was in your train of thought, the reason why you chose to do this? Now, if skipper come back and say, hey, shipmate, make it, I'm gonna play this game right now. Let's say skipper be like, shipmate, make it happen. I'm like, all right, Skip. I'm gonna go have this conversation with the sailor, shipmate. This is what you got. Remember that you can submit a statement, or you're more than welcome to submit whatever other information you want to submit to whoever. But just know this is you're getting the adverse eval, and unfortunately, But I'm gonna tell you right now, man, that ain't gonna sit well with me. Like, I'm gonna be in Skipper's office until I can get a legit answer of why we're doing this. I've never been the type to just take somebody's guidance and it don't sit well with me. You got to explain to me. I need to know your why. Why you thinking what you thinking?
Yeah. Simon Sinek, right? Start with why. And at the end of the day, let's play. I'm the skipper. Hey, shipmate, this is what I give you my explanation, and this is what's gonna happen, right? Because I'm looking in the chat, right, and I see Herb. Herb always come with the gospel, right? Herb Banks, right? I'm gonna read off what Herb got.
Yep.
Skipper is delivering adverse evaluation based off his recommendations from the war room and the mess.
Correct.
Right. If one sailor reserves an adverse eval and another one doesn't, at the same command, he or she would have been based on the advisory received from the sailor's chain of command.
Correct.
And I'm here to tell you that's not always accurate, right? While the good majority of the COs do take the recommendation from the war room and the mess, I'm here to tell you from personal experience that's not always the case.
Okay.
You can have the recommendation. No, I'm not arguing. I'm just giving you like straight up. Like, you can get the recommendation all the time, right? The CO is going 51%, whatever he feels like, right? And you will hope, right? Like you said, the good majority of them is not going to slang the 51% around, right? They're going to take the recommendation of the CMC, Chiefs Mess, department heads, war room, whatever the entity may be who's looked at these packages and these evals. But there's going to come a time to where, let's just say, a very small command dynamic, right? To where maybe it's only a group of a handful of chiefs, or there are no chiefs. Maybe it's only a STL and a whole bunch of lieutenants, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not going to have the ability to have that seasoned, mitigation in the middle before the CO makes his recommendation. And Lord forgive you if you got a CO that got some personal feelings about said sailor, and they get to wield that 51%, and this is the time they be like, oh, okay, all right. So it's going to be a really tough situation because the guidance has changed. And that's what my point is. With the guidance now leaning on subjectivity based off of the CEO's recommendation versus the instruction mandating everybody gets that adverse. I want to spin it a little bit. Let's talk about when you don't get your ESWAS pen or your CB pen, your Swizz, and your FMF in time, right? Mm-hmm. There is no subjectivity. You either meet the deadline or you don't, and you're going to get the adverse fit rep if you don't meet the deadline. Like, there is no subjectivity, right? Mm-hmm. You don't meet the deadline, you don't get qualified, you get the adverse. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's point blank, period. Mm-hmm. So kind of roping back into what you were saying about all the, the twin screws who was complaining, saying the standards getting lowered. I don't necessarily think the standards getting lowered. What I feel like is, based off the issues with retention and things of that nature, I feel like we're giving a lot of the retention issues, the secondary and the tertiary effects of that is changing instructions and policy to keep people in, which is going to leave a lot more subjectivity when it comes to decision making of who gets to stay in. It's almost kind of like we're repeating the PTS shit all over again, but in reverse. So yeah, that's what my thoughts is.
So no, you're right. And here's what I'll say too, man. Because I'm sitting here thinking about it, like, right. So I'm a lieutenant, right? I could see myself, if I was to stay long enough, I could see myself going to be a commanding officer someday, right? Now, will that happen? Yeah, will that happen? Probably not. But let's say I could stay long enough. In my mind, it's everything that the Navy is doing right now is giving more authority to the commanders, right? They're sending everything down to the commanders with the CA2P, pretty much everything. Correct.
Yeah.
And in my mind, the one thing I love about leadership and why I would like to be a commanding officer someday is as a commander or a commanding officer, one thing that that you always have. Now I'm about to say this. You might not always have an effective, but I'm gonna say this. You always have CMC, you always have an XO, and you usually are always gonna have a war room and a mess. Now, how they are situated and how they operate is different command to command. But my point is, I know I don't ever have to make a decision in a vacuum. If I got two sailors that are coming up and they both fail the PRT. I'm listening to those chain of commands. I'm listening to the CMC. I'm listening to the XO, and it's then I got to make a final decision, but it's based on everybody else. So when you say subjectivity, and I know you're right, there are some CEOs out there or commanders or OICs that kind of get into their head and their bag, and they like, oh, well, I'm making a decision. But I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of those, well, I ain't gonna say a lot. Some of those, or a percentage of those, have been relieved for lack of confidence and trust because of the decisions that they made in a vacuum instead of using the team to make a correct decision. The good commanders that I've worked for, the good commanding officers that I've worked for, have always leaned on their team. And if they had questions, they would bring it to their team and ask the team, hey, why did you make this decision? So then they can make an informed decision. So you're right. There's always going to be people that's going to make mistakes and things like that. But I do like the idea of giving more at the commander level because, again, the Marine Corps does that. The Marine Corps divvies down all the way to the field grade officer. So I like it.
Yeah. So, but this is the thing, though. You are thinking about some of the best, right? Best leaders are going to lean on the war room and the mess. I'm thinking worst case scenario. I'm thinking about those leaders who do need adult supervision from people a lot higher in their pay grade, right? And those leaders that you've seen get relieved, they had war rooms and messes. Like, I'm talking about good sizes. I'm talking about good leaders in those war rooms and those messes. And they still were making bad decisions in a vacuum. Because for whatever reason, they didn't trust the decision making in those pay grade levels. So I couldn't explain to you why, but they still were making bad decisions.
But bro, they human. At the end of the day, they're humans, man. I don't care what.
That's my point, though. That's my point. They human. Yeah. So when you put decision making, you take it out of the doctrine and you put it in people's hands, some of who don't have the character and integrity to make proper decisions when it comes to the future of people's lives, this is what you leave on the table, right? Subjectivity. Because like you said, the human aspect of decision making is something that is always going to come back and bite us. If you put the shit in the doctrine like we already had it, and you don't worry about the fallout because of the retention, right? You find other ways, more effective ways to retain our people. You don't go back and change the policy and say, hey, commander or captain so and so, hey, we're gonna let you make this decision because we don't have the fucking intestinal fortitude to say because you out of standards you got to go home because we want to keep an extra couple hundred people in the Navy. That's fucking retarded to me. I don't understand that, bro.
Let me play devil's advocate real quick, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're very right. You're very right about the human aspect. But even when we did, because if you leave it up to me, I'd much rather operate in the gray than have doctrine for everything, right? So, but if you go back to doctrine,
I agree with that.
Yeah. If you go back to doctrine and you mandate it, right? We still were not, or should I say, we still were making human mistakes even when it was mandated because there was
PRT.
Yeah, because watch this. And I know we got some CFLs on the line. You'll have people who will fail a PRT or two PRTs, and it never got documented in the eval of fit rep the right way. So then when it came time to actually try to send them up or separate them, because it was never properly documented, you can't go through with that administrative process because you never documented the right way in the eval in the first place. And I've seen that numerous times.
So people don't follow the doctrine. That's crazy, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so my point is you can mandate things in doctrine and think that that's going to fix a problem, but you're always going to have a human aspect to whether something works or doesn't work. So I'm all for, putting it at the commander's level because first off, Keith, why the hell you got somebody in a commander position that you're not going to entrust in to do the things that need to get done?
Because of what we just talked about. Because some motherfuckers, regardless of what pay grade they get to, their personal feelings get involved with their decision making. We're not talking about tactical decision making in the battle space. We're talking about maintaining a person in the military. It's completely different at that point.
But when you send them to commanding officer school or CMC school or whatever case might be, and you selected them for those milestone billets, part of that should be entrusting them to make the right decisions. Now, again, I know everybody's not going to, but you at least got to give them the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't deny that point, right? Because that's all. Of course, when I see anytime I see somebody in command or senior enlisted, I'm inherently like, okay, this person is qualified to do the job strictly off of professional performance alone, right? I'm never going to question that until my interaction or things I've seen over my time serving with them leads to me to believe otherwise, which I've
Yeah.
seen several times, of course, right?
Yeah.
But the good majority of people do make those decisions with leaning on their mass in their war
Yeah.
room. So
Yeah.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
But those handful of times I've seen them not do it just leaves
Yeah.
a really bad taste in my mouth and
Yeah.
makes me feel like it's gonna happen and some sailor's gonna be on the Navy time saying
It will.
my CEO did this to me, right? So
Yeah. No, you're right.
yeah,
It will. It will.
but let's go to some of the comments, man. We got people. We don't hit from 19 to 47 comments, man. Let me go scroll through this thing right quick, man, because I know people was flame spraying me for talking that shit, boy.
Yeah, they
No, they
going.
was flame
Hey,
spraying.
hey,
They
I said,
going
I
crazy.
seen, I seen that chat moving out there, boy.
Hey, that thing was a. I said, oh man. Soon we said CEO is gonna give MPs and P. They everybody's like, whoa,
Yeah.
wait a minute, goddamn, right?
That PRT conversation always it struck a lot of nerves, man.
Yeah. So my boy Dylan, he said, as a former CFL, I do appreciate the intent, but right now, question mark, the Navy going to lose good people to PRT, and they know it. Thus the change, right? Because we've been losing people to the PRT. I've seen some fat dudes who, they the smartest motherfuckers I ever seen, right? But they overweight and they can't make tape. And I've also seen some really buff, swole motherfuckers get put out just because they rock solid with 2% body fat, but they 5'7". So at the same time, there was a loophole in the instruction, which I can understand why. If the commander can look at you and say, "Well, you're not a fat ass, right? You're doing everything possible, but the way your genetics are made up, you're never going to get 186 pounds at fucking 5'9". It's just not going to happen, right? So at that point, you should be able to say, "Hey, look, we need to get you in the best shape possible in order to pass the weight and height requirements in order to still be eligible for advancement." Um, so Ty Jones says, relieved question mark. How many have they trained to walk the same line, right? So I'm not 100% sure what that means, but
I
I'm
see.
assuming.
I see a comment I'm gonna address later. Peter Walker said they ain't good if they can't maintain standards. So I got a thought for that towards the end when we talk about recruiting and retention.
Yeah. So Dylan also said my PRT scores are always outstanding / excellent, but he said, but that's me. To be honest, didn't make me a better leader, right? Because we always put, military always has a way to say, if you're not physically fit, then you must be a shitty leader, right? We kind of put those bars right next to each other. That's because of what we do as a profession. Because any given moment, you can be told to pull somebody 275 pounds out of a scuttle, but them motherfuckers failed the last 3 PRTs, and you got 6 people behind them trapped in a berthing, right? And we talking about worst case scenario, right? We're not talking about normal occurrences. But when the flagpole do go up, guess what? I can't have motherfucker, big body, stuck in the scuttle as I'm trying to escape the berthing and get to my battle station. So, two sides of that.
Well, while
Uh,
you while you reading that, I want to add something to that too, because I think part of the issue that, or part of the problem that I see, is we look at PRT from as you mentioned, a physical fit point of view. But as you know, I work in the medical field, right?
yeah,
Uh, we from the medical side of the house, we look at PRT from a health point of view. So it's okay to do 1,000 push-ups and do planks for 10 hours and all this other stuff. But if you ain't healthy, shit, mate, you ain't gonna be no good to us anyway, because you're gonna be in medical someday soon, trying to figure out why your arteries clogged from all these stuff that you taking or whatever the case may be. So here's what I have to say. I would rather have a sailor that's healthy. And when I say healthy, meaning obviously you can still, pass a PRT standard. You can still do that. But I want you to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that. That's all medical readiness. That's all health.
Matt, I know you're talking from the corpsman perspective right
From a
now,
medical perspective.
but
Yeah.
yes. But let me bring it back to the common world perspective,
Mm-hmm.
the non-corpsman perspective. Let's say that everything you just brought up
Mm-hmm.
again lends to my point. How can you say, as just another regular ass human being, if another sailor is mentally prepared or mentally healthy? You can never tell that just by eyeballing somebody. You have to have really deep, thoughtful conversations with people. And to
Absolutely.
wrap this back into the CO subjectivity on making recommendations on a person's evaluation, how the hell is the CO supposed to determine somebody's mentally healthy? So here's something I thought about when you were saying what you just said. Are we supposed to give people cholesterol checks and put that a part of their PRT scores, right? To
No,
see if they're healthy,
no,
like
no,
healthy?
no,
Like I don't
no,
understand what you were
no,
trying to
no,
say.
you missed what I was the angle I'm coming at. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is while everybody's all outraged and talking about like you're talking about the fit point of view and people talking about how many push-ups and stuff they can do, all that is great. What I'm saying is I'm not outraged about whether somebody can get an excellent or an outstanding on a PRT. If you're getting a good, but you are healthy, I'm happy about that. You can
How
have
do
an
you determine health? How do you determine the health without the measurables of some type of push up, sit up, run? How do you determine that though? That's what I'm asking you. Like, how do
easy.
you determine that?
Well, in my mind, is leadership. If as you just mentioned, talking to your sailors is one way. No,
Oh
you
my god.
laugh. No, seriously, you
I'm
laugh.
not laughing. I'm just
Yeah,
frustrated.
yeah.
Like, because that don't make no sense to me. That don't make no
Well,
sense.
it's got to make sense because again, if you are as chiefs, right? If you're on those deck plates and you know your sailors, you know if they're going through stuff. You know if they're going through stuff because you know your sailors. That's one. Number two, we have programs in place called force preservation, right? Where you actually have meetings where you got to talk about sailors that are having certain type of issues, right? So
Yeah.
just from a mental perspective. When you talk about what physical perspective, well, one, obviously you can look at them and tell if something's going on. On top of that, if they are not doing good on their PRT, then that's a conversation. Like we got programs in place.
Right.
Stuff
I think you're getting off topic. What, Matt? Let me ask you a question. I'm about to hit you with the Shay Sharp. Let me ask you a question. What did PRT stand for?
Physical readiness standards. Do you know that
Standards.
physical is not
PRT.
physical readiness
PRT.
test? Yeah, physical readiness test. Now,
Okay.
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on,
Wait. I
hold
didn't ask you to keep
Let me
going.
ask you a
Wait a
question. Hold
minute.
on. Let me ask you
You
a
can't
question.
ask me a
I
question
gotta
with
ask you a
questions.
question. I
Oh
gotta
my
ask you a
god.
question. The physical readiness test comes from what instruction?
6110.
Op nav, right?
Yeah.
And who writes half of that instruction?
What does that got to do with the question I asked you? What does that got to do with the question I asked you?
Because it ties into what I'm saying. Who writes half of that instruction?
What CNO? SecNav? I can't. I don't know.
BUMED.
BUMED does. Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yes.
BUMED.
Yeah, if you actually read that entire instruction, and for the CFLs that's on here, if they know this, if you read that entire instruction, there's a lot about more than just physical like push-ups. There's a whole nutrition section.
Okay.
So what I'm getting at is physical readiness is not just doing push-ups and sit-ups and running. There's a whole component to being healthy.
But the problem is they don't incorporate all that into the PRT. All of that for the physical, quote unquote, physical readiness test. Your mental health does not come into play when it's time to say, did this sailor pass the PRT? The sailor's mental health does not come into play when the CO has to say adverse fit rep or not. It doesn't come into play.
No, it does. I'm gonna tell you where it does. Because this is where a lot of you're right. The general person don't think about it this way, but it does. Because in order to do your PRT, what do you have to do?
PHA.
And what do you have to do?
What's that shit called? Shit I never do on time. The par
Yeah.
Q.
Yeah. So before you can even get to the pushing and running aspect, you have to do a PHA and a par Q because you have to be ready overall to do that physical test. Now, once you've done all that and you do that test, and then you still got some issues, then it's okay. We need to sit down and talk. But if the PHA and PRQ is done the right way, we will find those things out. But let's be honest, a lot of people lie.
Nobody's doing that shit getting gun deck. I can tell you right now, I gun deck that shit. Can I do the PRT this month? Yes, no, done.
Look at Dylan. Look at Dylan.
What Dylan said?
Hey Dylan, I'm trying to school him, Dylan. I'm trying to school him.
Hey, Dylan was like, fucking what? Man, that part FQ is I'm gonna wipe my ass with that thing. Look, that shit is the most gun deck thing outside of NFAS I've ever seen in my life, man. Look.
And that's why, as a Navy medicine representative, we get kind of frustrated at times because we know that there are things going on with sailors that y'all don't come forth and tell us. But then,
bro, you know why? You know why?
What?
Because y'all talk too motherfucking much. Nobody don't trust no corpsman dog. No, nobody's talking about you specifically.
That's hip, dog. That's hip.
Look. That's hip on my ass. Y'all be hipping that shit all through the mess decks and everything else, man. That shit is crazy. Y'all motherfuckers know y'all be out there running y'all mouth, motherfucking medical. And then next thing you know, the whole boat know that your ass done been in there for a tetanus shot because goddamn HM3 wanted to spill some tea. Like,
what's wrong with tetanus?
listen. This may be something new to you, right? And my dog said, no disrespect, but y'all probably one of the least trusted rates in the Navy, dog.
Hey,
Nobody trusts the corpsman, dog. Like
that's
that's straight
that's
up, dog. There are very few corpsmen that can hold water, right?
that's
And everybody know that, dog. Nobody goes to medical with any real problems because motherfuckers will sit there and die before they go to medical because they
yeah.
don't want their name all over
You a
the
lie.
fucking.
I just
I'm
walked through
just saying,
I
dog.
just walked
Like
through Schools Point today. That thing packed, boy. You a lie, I
they pack because they got to do these mandatory dumbass PHA before they do their PRT. That's why. That's the only reason it packed. But
No,
he
that's
do these
not.
screening, overseas screening. Ain't nobody in there talking about no shit for real, for real. I'm telling
See,
you, dog.
now here's
Like
the
I'm
funny
telling
thing.
you.
Watch this. Watch this. Here's the funny thing. You saying all this nine is dumb now, but ask these retired folks on here about when you got to go and you
Nah,
got to go get all your medical stuff done at the end, and
nah.
you got to get all the stuff added to your record. It ain't dumb until you need it. So you better make sure
Exactly,
you better
exactly.
make sure you better make sure you take your ass down there and put that shit on your PHA. So that's
Yeah,
what
that's a whole different conversation. A whole different conversation. I'm talking about PHAs and PARQs. Right?
oh
We try to
yeah,
get that
put
shit
that shit
done
on
so I can go
your
home
PHA.
for the day.
Put it on
Nobody
your
in there trying to
PHA.
get no retirement pay from no PARQ, dog. Like
Man, you better
5
put it on your
questions,
PHA.
yes, done. Like, don't get me wrong. Some of those bitches I had to fill out because it was no way I was gonna pass the PRT if I wasn't 100% honest. Like, my knee fucked up, my shoulder fucked up. I had to be because I couldn't do the damn push-ups. Like, legitimately couldn't do a push-up one time. I had the PRT because my shoulder was fucked up and my knee was fucked up, so I couldn't do the run on PRT. So
Nope.
I had to be honest. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why I'm glad. That's why I'm glad we came up with the alternative cardio. Because remember, at one point in time, it was only a run.
Do I remember that? Ever
Yeah,
since I remember always being a bike option, but I always thought like, man, that motherfucker's weak. You on
oh,
a
long
bike?
time ago, it was just run. What you talking about?
Boy, ever since my damn knee started to swell up, I'm like, man, this bike is a lifesaver, boy. I'll never run this thing again. I can't believe people was doing this and passing the PRT with outstanding. You got me messed up. I'll never run another lap in my life, boy. Not never. If it ain't no basketball, no football out there, I ain't running after it. I can't do it. No, sir. No way. Can't do it. But
Petey, talk to him, Petey. Talk to
what
him,
Petey?
Petey. Look, I love it when my people step in. Talk to him, Petey.
No, man. PHAs is necessary. Did I say dumb? I can't remember what I said. We're gonna have to roll the
You did,
clip
you
back.
did, you
I have
did.
to roll the clip back, but sailors not being ready is not because they didn't fill out the PHA correctly, dog. Let's be 100 now, because all of these mandated things that we do to make sure sailors are ready and sailor readiness is fabricated shit that, like, on the deck plates we could have made sure of, right? And if they need to go to medical, they should have went to medical. We can't force nobody to go because if they falsely filling out these PHAs like a lot of people do, I mean, that is what it is, right? You can't hold people's hand. Like you said, it's HIPAA, right? You can't force somebody to tell you their issues and make them do shit. Like, it's just not going to happen. And then half the time, the leaders are the ones talking about people malingering, suck that shit up, get your ass back to work, right? I don't do that shit no more. I used to do it, but, I mean, that happens, man. So,
Did you know?
double-edged sword, man.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know that if a sailor doesn't do their PHA, you can annotate that and mark them down on their eval.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep, because it directly affects warfighting readiness.
Yeah, and then you got boats in. She said, you said should have, but sailors get talked or made fun of if they do go. I've seen it, right? And I think I did. I kind of said something to that point. Like, people
Yeah,
go to medical and then they do get made fun of. I kind of said something to that point, right? And that's
yeah.
because we don't want to go to medical, because if your shit get out that you do got an injury or something, people think you malingering or you milking it. And then your business is out there like, yeah, this motherfucker taking these pills and they back fucked up and they all broken up and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a couple of different angles. I mean, no disrespect to nobody who do or don't, like Navy medicine, but that's just my opinion. Everybody gonna have their different flavor on how they feel about it. So I
You're right.
get it.
You're right. And at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, and you agree, humans are going to be humans. No matter what rate you're in or what job you do, you're always going to have bad apples, no matter where you go.
Yeah, Petey said you're not ready unless medical say you're ready. I mean, I can go back and forth with that one. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't agree with that one either,
Well,
because
whoever said that got a valid point, because actually, one of the reasons why a ship couldn't deploy would be because of medical. Your crew has to be medically ready to deploy.
no,
That's
I
what.
get all that. I get the medical readiness percentages that everybody have on the board when you walk into medical, right? I get all that, right? Statistically speaking, right? You can't get underway if a couple of things on the red line list is
Yeah,
done
of course.
read out too, right? I get that, right? But let's not get out of hand, right? A lot of sailors go underway who got bumps, bruises, nicks, who didn't get their influenza shot, right? They still
Better,
getting underway.
better
The
get
ship's
that
still
tetanus
going,
warrant.
right? But the ship's still going though. You know what I'm
Better get
saying?
the
Like,
tetanus warrant.
yeah, they just because they class 3 dental because they ain't get a cleaning in the last 12 months. Like the ship's still getting underway. Let's not cap on that, man. But
All right, we
uh,
killed that topic. We
yeah,
killed that
yeah,
topic. What we
we
got
beat
next?
that
What
up
we got
pretty
next?
we beat that up pretty good, man. So
What
a
we
lot
got
of
next?
people had a lot of comments in there, so that's good, man. We'll go back over those. Uh, but let's talk about something that's a little bit better, a little bit more on the bright side, man. These junior sailors about to start getting paid, and I'm talking about big cash, right? Who you talking to over there?
My dog, man. He trying to be in the camera.
Oh, you trying to be in the camera? Oh man,
Oh
we're
no,
gonna have
right
a
there.
little pet episode, man.
He
Get
said
the
right there.
dog in the camera, man. Yeah, man. All the PRT coordinators in the docs on my neck, boy. They don't like that shit. They don't like that shit at all. I'm about to read those comments later, man. But let's talk about this pay increase, man. So
Okay.
E1 through E4, man. E1 through E4 is about to cash out big time, right? We're looking at a total, right? A total of a 19.5% pay increase for E1 through E4 if everything comes through for them as far as the pay raise for E1 to E4 and the actual complete DoD pay raise when it comes to the Department of the Navy, Department of Defense for fiscal year 25. So that'll equal a 19.5% with 15% for E1 to E4 and another 4.5% for everybody else. What's your thoughts on the way our junior sailors have been getting paid and this potential increase in pay?
I'm gonna say this loud. Are we allowed? Are we allowed to cuss on here? Okay.
Grown ass man, dog. Grown ass man, dog.
Okay. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna say this loud and fucking clear. We is long overdue for a pay increase for these junior sailors. Long fucking overdue. All right. We haven't had, and what I'm about to say, I saw this on a Congress meeting, right? We haven't had a bump in salary as a holistic approach for junior sailors since 2002.
Mm,
So this
right.
is not accounting for, like, this is, we're not talking about the annual little.
Yeah, annual increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is the actual quadrennial. I think they call it the quadrennial review in military compensation. QRNC is what they call it. And we haven't had an increase since 2002. How much has the damn inflation gone up since 2002?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
2002.
saying?
Right. Yeah.
When you think about a few things, right? Who the largest part of our workforce is E5 and below. And obviously we're having recruiting issues and retention issues. And part of the reasons that's keeping them from joining and slash staying is the fact that the economy is not doing as bad to where they can't get out and go make some money on the outside. And then last but not least, you tie that into the fact that we all know that we have a possible conflict brewing, in the near future. Why
Right.
the hell would you not pay your workforce? At least make it comparable to what the civilian sector is covering. Because the truth of the matter is, if we don't keep these sailors in or we don't get more, and we talk about going to a conflict with a country that is equal to or better than us in some aspects, shit is gonna get ugly. Shit's gonna get real ugly.
Shit's already ugly. You know those E1 through E4s, man. They see what the Navy pays, and it's pretty bad, right? And a lot of people compare like really entry level basic jobs to what E1s through E4s do, right? On a pay scale. So I had a young sailor tell me when I brought this up last week at work, man, I was making more at Target than I do as an E3. I was like, damn. I was like, yeah, I was bringing home twice as much as this, right? And my first thought is, okay, you're bringing in twice as much. So here go the devil's advocate, right? Because this is what all the old heads do to the young guys that say, I'm gonna get out and make 3 times as much, right? Okay, were you getting paid for just being, at work as far as incentive pay? Because a lot of cats get that over where we at right now. Were you given housing allowance as far as not your basic pay, but given a roof over your head or given a stipend to live out in town? were you getting BAS? Were they paying you to eat every day? Why it might not be, to your liking, or how much you average would spend on a couple of meals a day. Were you getting any type of compensation for that? Health insurance. Were you getting paid, or were you covered under the company's health insurance program?
That's the big.
401k. Yeah, 401k. Well, dental is a whole nother beast, right? We're
That's a
talking
whole
health
nother.
insurance, but that your kids need braces. Who's paying for that? Right? Um, I mean, I can go on, right? I can go on and on and on, right? About all the hidden incentives that the military pays for. And the young folks know about this, but it don't look good when you compare those things on the screen next to each other, right? All you see is that basic pay, right? And I just want to be clear, right? I 100% agree with the pay increase. The pay increase is much needed. The inflation is crazy. 22 years going without a pay bump for those guys is insanity, right? But I will say that on the other hand, I've seen many E4 below maintain a household with no problems. And that's because they use all the tools that they have wisely. They're smart investors. They spend their money on wisely on necessities, and they don't go out and buy a 2027 Camaro on 28s and put all types of shit inside of it and then sleep in their car, shit like that, right? But they don't want to talk about that part. And then just to pivot a little bit, you you still got the senior listed, right? You still got the senior listed in the O's, right? That okay, that 15% pay increase would look good for us too now, dog. Come on now. I mean, shit. Like, hey, I'm all for the junior sailor, but why is not 15% across the board? You feel me? Like, what the hell? They working, but hell, we working too. Shit. Hey, I'm just saying, dog. I'm just
Hey,
saying,
come
dog.
on, man. Come
Hey,
on.
I'm just
What
saying,
we not
dog.
what we not gonna do is sit up here and act like we not good off. Okay.
Bro, don't no 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 no. What you can't do is say that one group of folks is underpaid to do what we do. You can't tell me that, dog.
Well,
Because
look at your base pay and look at E5 and below base
I'm
pay.
not going I'm not gonna do that because I was an E1 through E4. So
Okay.
you can't tell me I don't know where they coming from. I know that.
Okay.
But
So,
listen, you can't dismiss my point though. Again, I'm gonna say this. They deserve the pay raise 100%. And I'm gonna throw this on top of that. Everybody across the board deserve a pay raise. That's all I'm saying, dog. Like that's it, man. I ain't
hey,
shitting on
right. Hey,
E4s and below.
you right. Everybody got their own, thoughts and all that good jazz. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at with my money. If the Navy
Hey,
want to if the Navy want to give me 15% more or DOD want to give me cool. And if they don't, I'm good. But them E5 and below, nah, they gotta get that shit, bro. That's
oh man, I don't disagree with
I
that,
know you
dog.
know. I
That's
know
what I'm
you
trying
know.
to say. I
I
don't
know you
disagree
know.
with
I
that.
know. I know. I'm just saying for us, I'm good. If they give it to me, cool. If they don't, I'm content.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not like, and that's the problem though. Why should I settle for less? Why? Why should I settle? Because I'm older? Because you got me locked in? That's
You
not
not
fair.
doing, bro, you not doing what we used to do. We not doing what we used to do.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you a question then. Do
Yeah.
you think what we doing now is more stressful, more mentally draining, or do you think that comparing what they probably are doing more physically, right, ground level type work is more on them than what we're doing, more mentally, physically draining, exhausting? And does the pay increase for them compared to what our pay is currently? So answer that for me. If you
Hey,
need me to re-ask it, I can, but you understand what I'm getting at,
no,
right?
I know what you're saying, and I'm gonna be straight up honest with everybody. Big Mac talk to him, dog. My life is nowhere near as hard as it was as E4 McCauley, as O3E McCauley. My life is much easier because I got chiefs and senior chiefs that are rocking and rolling. I got sailors that are on that deck plate rocking and rolling, and all I gotta do is go in rooms and fight for them. So,
Damn, man. So I hate you, man. That was a good ass answer. That was a good
I,
ass.
but I'm being dead at like I literally told somebody the other day. I was
Good
like,
ass answer.
I told somebody the other day. I said, this is crazy because when I was a chief, I was working probably the hardest I ever worked as a chief because I was trying to do the job and lead the sailors, and then try to lead officers. But then I
Yeah.
come over on this side and I'm getting paid
Oh,
twice as much as I was then.
mm.
But I don't have to do much because again, I got Chiefs. So as
Good.
bad
I'm glad you said that.
that sounds bad because I came from being a Chief. So when you ask me, is my job harder now or easier or whatever? Man, it's easy as fuck compared to when I was E5 McCauley.
No, I agree with you, right? But you made a really solid point that I got to talk to you about.
Okay.
So you said as the chief, that was probably the hardest point of your career, right?
Yeah, man.
Right. So back to my point, why the hell didn't the Chiefs get a fucking promotion? I mean, I'm sorry, not a promotion, a pay raise, right? Because I agree with you. As a fucking chief, bro, that shit is exhausting. You're not responsible for just the Chiefs' responsibility to the Chiefs, man. You're responsible to 30 to 45 sailors, depending on the size of your command. You're responsible for training all them fucking JOs that walking around don't know what the hell they doing quite yet. And you're responsible for everything else in between and outside the lifelines. You're responsible for all that shit, right? But hear me out, right? I got a C story for you. Hear me out. I had a dude, I can't remember exactly where or when this happened. I remember this conversation. Oh, matter of fact, it was my boy. Shout out Corey Hudson, retired E7 in the Army. My boy. We had this conversation, right? And we had a conversation on basically this, right? Pay raises for senior enlisted and getting people who are enlisted closer to the pay scale of an officer. So our conversation was based off of basically this: the difference between the decision making, responsibility, all of that stuff of a senior enlisted person versus a commanding officer. Let's just go big wig, commanding officer. We looked at the pay, and this was 2022. The pay was double for a master chief for over 20 than a captain for over 20, whatever, 25. I can't remember the exact pay raise or dates. And we was looking at each other like, damn, the captain get double than the damn CMC or the senior enlisted person. So we just started to go down the line of all the responsibilities and everything that a senior enlisted was responsible for. And if that senior enlisted goes home at 20, 22, 24 before the 30's up, we're not really getting the bang for the buck from that senior enlisted leader like we would from that captain who's probably going to go on to do 30, 33 years because they making a lot of money. So at the end of the day, that pay raise for the E1 through E4 is well deserved. And what I will say is that pay raise should have got extended at a bare minimum to senior enlisted, right? I don't know where you cut it off at, E7, E8, E9. And that's because of what we just talked about, being the chief. The responsibility that you have as a chief extends left, right, up, down, right? It doesn't get to the point kind of like where me and you are both at right now to where we can lean on the chief's mess and be a part of the war room instead of having junior sailors leaning on you, have the junior officers leaning on you, and the chief's mess is leaning on you in order to be there for them every day, 24/7, 365 around the clock. So that was my thoughts on why senior enlisted at a bare minimum, like me too, right? But the senior enlisted definitely should have kind of met. They could have met them in the middle, maybe 7-8%, maybe not the full 15. So
I would say I 100% agree with you, and I would say that it hurts me to see the senior enlisted leaders go, the E7s to E9s, because while we do need recruiting and we do need younger troops to man the guns and all that type, we need that experience, that combat
yeah,
experience from our senior leaders. So I do believe that they deserve a pay raise, whether it's a pay raise or more incentive. Our senior enlisted leaders need more because the expectation of the senior enlisted leader is to lead the junior sailors as well as mentor the junior officers.
yeah. Yeah, big time. So let's go to the chat, man. Uh this boy Dylan, hey, Dylan on my neck, boy. Me and him was together in
So
Bahrain.
he
We was out
gone.
there chopping it up. Hey, this man said I was a chief for 10 minutes. Man, I was chief for 8 years. I was chief for 8 years. I was chief for 8 years. I was chief from 2013 to 2021, big dog. So nah, I was in that thing. I was in that thing grinding. Big
Tell him
time.
you cheated longer than him.
Nah, I ain't gonna say all that because I can't remember exactly what his dates was, but I was chief for a minute, man. I mean, Yeah, you can make more on the outside, right? But at the end of the day, you paying a lot more for those secondary, tertiary expenditures than you thinking, right? So I'm traveling the world for free, basically, man. I tell you that straight up. So
And I seen a comment in there earlier. I think one of your shipmates was saying some. I think another thing that we don't do a good job of, and I only know this because I used to be recruiting. So for those that used to recruit, you know this, and you talked about it. We don't. Matter of fact, you seen that post that be floating around social media where it be like, if you join the Navy, you'll make this amount of money, and then everybody be like, man, that's bullshit. We don't make that much. Well, actually, if you go on the total military compensation where it adds in your healthcare benefits, your
yeah,
PAH, your BAS, all that
yeah,
adds up, that's what you bringing in. You just don't see it in your paycheck. So
right.
so when you get out and you go get this job that's making this money, you got to remember they may or may not pay for all for your medical and dental. They may or may not pay for your housing and things like that. So and I think what's underappreciated is when you have sailors that are healthy and right, and we just talked about medical, right? So they don't need health care, right? They just do their own thing. But if you talk to those sailors who are actually like got some things going on, ask them how much that damn healthcare costs on the outside for that cancer that you got, or
Hmm.
for the braces that you're trying to get, or
Oh yeah,
migraine headache, or that medication that come along with that. Ask them how much that stuff costs, and then get back to me. Because
yeah,
we talk shit about Navy medicine, but remember, your healthcare is free as fuck.
yeah.
And for anything that's free, it ain't gonna be great, but at least you can go to the ER and make sure that your ass gets seen.
Mm. Yeah,
So
but so I mean that's true. But I'm gonna shoot back real quick. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of the like real Navy medicine shit, right? Outside of the day to day, they referring to the outside. But the thing is, Navy covering a big chunk of that for you though.
hell yeah,
If not all of it,
hell yeah.
and
And
that's
she said,
where
she
it
said,
comes
yeah,
into
but
play
we have to fight to get it. But listen though, you got to fight to get that anywhere
for
because
sure.
healthcare, whether inside or out, ain't great. And when I say ain't great, I mean as far as access to care. Anywhere you go, the only people that's getting seen and getting whatever they want are those people that's making buku money. But if you are getting, especially if you're getting free healthcare or you're getting the basic healthcare, you gonna wait damn near anywhere you go because we struggling as a nation right now.
Yeah, I mean we ain't got no free healthcare. Obamacare came through for a little bit, but I ain't never been no civilian to experience how that process goes. So I
And
couldn't.
and even with Obamacare, the reason why that didn't even go the way it should have went because we had a new administration come in after that tried to scrap the whole thing.
Oh yeah, he shut that. He tried to shut that thing down ASAP. I was on his to do
Exactly.
list. He
Exactly.
had
So it never
receipts.
really got, yeah, it never got off the ground.
Right. I mean, you know how that go when it comes to politics, but try to stay out of all that stuff, man.
Yeah, I
But
stay out of it too. I don't get
yeah,
involved.
I try my best. But
All right, what's the next topic, dog? I think we got one more.
no, man, that's it, man.
That's it?
That's it, man. Unless you want to talk to him about something else, man. What else on your brain,
Oh,
man?
you right. Okay, so peep this. Peep this, everybody. So we talked about a lot of good things, man. We talked about the Navy PRT, changing the admin writing and all that. We talked about shit. What's the most recent one? The damn
We just talked about
right to pay.
how the,
Yeah. So
how
we
the
talked
sailors
about
are
the
getting a
pay.
pay increase. Yeah.
Yep. And then we tied in junior sailors and then the senior enlisted and all that. So I just want to leave y'all with something, man. So I just got done watching this thing called the House of Armed Services Committee hearing. And if y'all never heard of that, you can go on YouTube, type in House of Armed Services Committee. And basically they have hearings where like the one I was watching today, they'll have the CNO, the Secretary of the Navy, and the Commandant of the Marine Corps sitting right there talking to Congress about uh, just things that Congress want to talk about. So today, one of the members from Congress asked the Secretary of the Navy, hey, what is going on with recruiting and retention? Why is the Navy the only branch that has not done well at recruiting while all the other services did, including the Marine Corps?
Mm.
And the Secretary of the Navy gave his answer. And so, long story short, what I want to say is, man, what I don't think we're doing a good job of, and when I say we, I'm talking about leaders. So I'm talking to the leaders out there right now. I think we can do a better job of letting our sailors know what is coming, what is happening around us in the world. And what you mean by that, Mac? Well, it's evident there's two big things going on right now. One, obviously Russia and Ukraine and what's going on over there in the Red Sea, right? That's an acute threat that's going on. But then there's a pacing threat going on in the Indo-Pacific, in the Western Pacific, that we have a whole country that is literally on the same level as us, if not in some areas, surpassed us. So what are you talking about, Mac? What I'm talking about is all these programs that we're talking about that's changing. We are not recruiting the way that we need to for numerous reasons, and we're not retaining people the way that we need to for various reasons. And on top of that, we have a pending conflict that could happen within the next few years. So the question is, and I told my sailors this the other day, the question is, are you ready for what's to come? And then the bigger question is are we ready for what's to come? So when we talk about hands in pockets, when we talk about all these things, standards, get it. I'm not a fan of none of that shit. But right now, if we were to go into a conflict with a adversary that has exactly what we have and more, will we win right now? And I'm not asking for nobody to get an answer. All I'm asking is think about that. Can we win with what we have right now? And if we can't, what are you/we doing to make ourselves ready? Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I always think about my family, my son, my mom, and everybody that's back here when I think about what could happen. And I just want to make sure that my family back here can live and have a good life just like I did. So that's why I'm still out here grinding and doing what I got to do. And I keep it real with my damn sailors. I tell them straight up, right? When it comes to medical shit, this medical readiness is important because we got to make sure that these sailors are ready to fight. And again, whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, we need to make sure that they're ready to go out there and press that button and shoot that missile. Or whatever the rating is, whether they put food on the table, whether they provide postal, whether they provide uniforms, whether they make sure our internet is secure, whatever it is, whether they launch the jets, we need to make sure that our sailors are ready to fucking. So I just want to throw that out there, man. While we always complaining about shit that's going on, these folks up here testifying that Congress is on their ass about why we not doing this and doing that. And we right here talking about, oh man, I can't stand the way the Navy is doing this, the way the Navy is doing that. Then take your ass up there to Congress and you fight that shit. Because I know I don't want to do it. And I don't know why this damn shit giving me fireworks, but I guess I must be talking that shit right now. So I'm just going to stop at the moment.
Boy, that's the most light-skinned shit I've never seen, boy.
I'm just going to stop at the moment. Big Mac just going to, matter of fact, Big Mac, talk to him.
Hey, yo, that's crazy.
All right. Nah, that's all I got, man. I hope somebody out there understood what I was trying to say, man. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna even follow up on that. I'm gonna let you have your moment. You know what I'm saying? Big Mac just talk to him.
But you get it though, because you in the cyber warfare community, man.
Listen here, man. I got a lot of thoughts and opinions on if the next generation is ready. I'll be very frank with you. Hell no. Nah. And you got some people, some really senior people who gonna disagree and say they gonna, rise to the moment and shit. No, they not. No, they not. You practice how you play, dog. Play how you practice. And the way we doing business right now, the way I'm seeing this next generation come behind us, it's gonna take a hell of a effort to get the folks in line and ready to put their life on the line. If we can't get them to not fucking walk around with some earbuds in, you feel me? Like, I know that was a bad joke, but
it's all good.
That's just how I think about it, man. I don't think so. I'm out here with these boys every day. I drive to work. It's Chinese spies out here taking pictures of our planes, dog. I just be want to walk up to them and smack them cameras out their hand, but of course we can't do that. Used to be out here. You know how these boys get. And these cats is out here, they ready, dog. Like, they've been, they hacking our shit. They in our business. They know exactly what our PPRs are. They know everything, dog. Because as soon as they strike, they already know what our next 3 moves is. Because they've been, counterintelligent us for forever. So I just hope that, we make it to the other end when this conflict start, dog. So that's all, dog. I ain't gonna go to
you see Dame's comment. He said you can't say that because do you think the OGs thought that we were ready?
I don't give a shit about what the OGs thought. I'm talking about me. I don't give a shit what the OGs thought. I don't care.
He got a valid point though.
I don't care about that. I don't agree with that because I'm not the OG. The OG's gone, dog. So now it's us. So we
Yeah, I'm about
ain't.
to say you is the OG now. You the OG.
I am the OG. I am the OG. So,
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
we the uncles now.
I don't give a shit about that. Because we can every generation had that same thought process. And guess what? Our generation hasn't been to war. Like for real, Iraq and Afghanistan for sure. That was some shit. But it wasn't like full out like invading, like America's been getting bombed. Like we was always throwing the first punch type shit when it came to the Iraq and Afghanistan shit, right? When it comes to, full ground assault level type shit, we ain't no dog, we're not ready for that, dog. I don't think we're ready for that, dog.
We did invade. Yeah, we did invade Iraq and Afghanistan, but like Dame said, that was more of a Marine Corps thing. The Navy,
And
like
that wasn't us, dog. That was the generation right before us, dog. Like
no,
91? Dog, where you was at in 91?
2001. We
You
invaded.
said, oh, when you said invade Iraq, I thought you meant goddamn Gulf
No,
War.
not Desert Storm, man. What the hell?
I thought you meant Gulf War.
Not Desert Storm. What the hell?
No, but what I'm saying is that type of warfare is not what I'm talking about. Right. Of course, we got the upper hand. We dropping bombs on them. They hiding in caves. That guerrilla warfare shit. Cool. Yeah. I'm talking about head on head, 1v1 versus your fucking arch nemesis. Not no motherfuckers hiding in
the big three. It's just big meat.
All right, man. You know what? That's a wrap, man.
What?
Hey, we out. Man.
We can have fun. We can have fun on Mac Mondays, bro.
Yeah, D talking about go do some research. Now, D don't retire for 37 years talking about go do some research. Go sit down, D.
Oh, they get that. They get that.
Chill out, D. They try to get, they trying, but yeah, get out of here, D. Nobody care about that.
I agree with you, Sharnisha. I agree with you. I feel like if you put these young folks to the test, they're gonna stand up and they're gonna do their thing. Kill my theme music.
All right. Hey, that's a wrap for the 1MC, man. Hey, Mac Mondays. We're gonna try to kick this thing off every Monday. I got watch next Monday, so Mac might be on this thing talking to himself.
Nah, I'll wait till you come back.
But yeah, I'm gonna be in the watch flow next Monday. So I don't know. We might do this thing on next Sunday or next Tuesday or something. We'll figure it out though. But hey, that's a wrap, man. Appreciate you coming through, Mac, and hold it down out there in VA.
2 up, 2 down, cuz.
All right, we out.
All right.
All right, dog. We out.